Hello, my name's Jay, and this is my review of P&O Cruises' new megaship, Iona. So getting embarkation out of the way, once we'd had our COVID tests, we had to proceed into the terminal, take a seat, and then once the results had been messaged to our phone, it was just a case of proceeding to the check-in desk. We were then given back our boarding passes, and with a nice big stamp to say that we were good to board, we could proceed to security and then straight onto the ship. This was my 25th cruise so far and my 8th with P&O. I've always been a pretty big fan of P&O Cruises as a brand. I love the sail away parties that they do. I've liked the variety of entertainment that you get in the theatre, and particularly the aft lounges you get on board their ships, like Havana on Ventura, or in Iona's case, the clubhouse. And also, I feel that P&O understand and cater for British tastes better than any other company on the market. Having sailed on board P&O for 102 nights in total so far, I came on Iona with high expectations. And in this video, I'm going to tell you whether she met them, and hopefully I can give you some tips throughout this video to maximise your cruise experience whilst on board this ship. So starting with the ship itself, because that is the most important bit, as this might determine whether a passenger likes Iona, regardless of the standard of entertainment, service and food, etc., and whether it's worth continuing to watch this video. Iona is massive. She is getting on for around 3 times the size of Aurora, and just 2 laps of her promenade deck equates to 2.25 miles. So if you're not a fan of larger ships or you struggle with mobility, Iona probably isn't the ship for you. Let's talk about the cabin. I had a standard balcony cabin on board Iona, and generally it was pretty good. I loved the decor, the bathroom was pretty spacious, the shower had a shower door, hallelujah. The balcony was a pretty decent size, much bigger than you get on the likes of Britannia. There were just 2 issues which bugged me. The first is a lack of storage. Wardrobe space was very limited. You had a small double wardrobe on the right side with a limited amount of hangers inside, but for the poor sod that got the left side of the wardrobe, you have to wedge yourself between the sofa and the wardrobe to access anything inside. Also, as you can see, you don't get very much inside either, which can be a problem if you're doing a 2-week cruise or more, like I was, and I have a lot of clothes. Also, and this is a first for me, you will not find a single drawer in this cabin. So you just have to utilise the shelf space and utterly pointless cupboards like these under the TV. And also, look at these bedside tables. They're utterly pointless. So because of an absence of drawers, leads, socks, boxers, etc. remained in my case under the bed for the duration of the cruise. Another niggle I have is that there is no plug socket for electric razors and toothbrushes in the bathroom. So on the second half of the holiday, I was having to brush manually with an electric toothbrush because I had no way of charging it. So my first tip for coming on this ship is bring a 3-pin adapter for an electric razor. If you'd like to check out a full tour of our cabin, check out our video on our channel. Next thing I'm going to talk about is food. And my God, there is no shortage of it on this ship, believe me. There is some really great places to eat on board Iona, including both free and inclusive dining venues and speciality restaurants where an additional charge is incurred. So as usual on a cruise, you have a buffet style restaurant, which on this ship is called the Horizon Court. It offers an extensive variety of dishes throughout the day, and I found the quality to be really great too. For those who don't eat meat like myself, you'd probably be as happy as I was to see that the Horizon Court offered vegetarian sausages, vegetarian bacon and scrambled tofu every single morning at breakfast. It's little things like this that really makes me give the thumbs up, as it shows that P&O are trying to cater for and please all of their guests. A section of the Horizon Court seating area transforms into the beach house of an evening, which is an American, Mexican, Caribbean style restaurant serving dishes like cheesy nachos, sizzling fajitas and chocolate Bedino waffle. I loved the food here, and at £7.50 per person, it's worth every penny. So my second tip is, if you like American or Mexican food, give the beach house a try. An alternative to the standard cruise ship buffet is the Keys, located on deck 8. The Keys is split into 3 sections. You've got hook, line and vinegar, which serves great fish and chips with all the accompaniments. Asian fusion, which serves Asian dishes like chicken katsu curry and sweet and sour corn stir fry. And the Boardwalk Diner, serving hot dogs, burgers and fried chicken from lunchtime onwards. I was a big fan of the Keys. I preferred this concept to a buffet, as I find buffets a bit of a chore. The quality of the food here was also really good, with particular emphasis on the fish and chips. So my third tip is give them a go, as they're just as good as what you'd get from your local chippy at home, and the best bit of all is they're free. One of my most favourite restaurants on board was the Olive Grove, a Mediterranean restaurant serving Greek classics like mezze plata to Italian dishes like pizza and pasta. A vast majority of the menu is free of charge, however some items like the mussels carry a small supplement. The pizza is banging here as well. It might just even top the pizza served on princess ships, and when you know, you know. I really recommend trying the Olive Grove. The quality of the food was so good, I'd have happily paid for everything I ate. However, because it's so good, it gets booked up really quickly. So my fourth tip is book through the My Holiday app as soon as you board, as evening slots go really quickly. Another speciality dining venue which deserves a mention, and it's totally new for P&O Cruises, is the Kill and Cow. This is a casual restaurant perched right at the top of the atrium on deck 8 and serves a range of different steaks, burgers, fish and chips, etc. There's also several vegan and vegetarian dishes to choose from as well. Obviously, I can't comment on the burgers and steak because I don't eat meat. However, I tried the box camembert with freshly baked rosemary and sea salt bread, the fish finger ciabatta with fries and curry sauce, and also tried the vegetable kofta balti pan. Everything was superb. And as for the pecan nut and bourbon pie, it is up there with the very best desserts I've eaten. Pricing is per item, and for a 3-course meal you are looking at a cost of £15 to £30 per person, depending on what you order. You don't book, you simply join a queue on the My Holiday app and wait for a notification to say that your table is ready. Now, I'll be honest, I never had a bad meal in Iona, so I could recommend every venue. Sindhu, Epicurean, Ripples, the Glass House, all were amazing. But the restaurants I have mentioned were my favourite, and I feel that they offered great value for money. However, I'm going to mention Sindhu. As much as I liked it, I was disappointed to see that they'd scrapped the 2 old menus where they used to alternate between the 2. I feel that the food was better then, and the overall dining experience was better too, as you used to get complimentary dishes from the chef, you got poppadoms, palate cleansers, etc. That's all gone, and I think it's a shame. Per head, Sindhu now works out more expensive than it used to based on a 3-course meal. However, the overall dining experience has depreciated since my last cruise with P&O on Iona in 2019. Just before I conclude with dining options on board, I will just mention the main dining. On Iona, you have 4 main dining rooms, offering the same menu: Opal, Aqua, Pearl and Coral. We ate at all 4 and found that the service was very friendly and super fast. Some will see this as a negative, as it is nice to sit and enjoy your meal and not feel rushed. However, because of the new queuing system through the My Holiday app, this is an inevitable consequence. However, I was never in a queue for more than 10 minutes before being called to my restaurant, so it's not necessarily a bad system, but it's not going to please everyone. The food here was pretty good, however menus of an evening didn't have the greatest variety. There was about 5 starters to choose from, 6 mains and 4 desserts. And if you're a vegetarian, some nights there was just 1 option for you. Let's talk entertainment. A bit of a mixed experience really. A massive cruise ship with a very silent cruise director. In fact, the most absent cruise director ever. Apparently it was a she, but I have no idea who it was because we never heard from her. She never made broadcasts to tell us what was going on around the ship. She wouldn't host on-board events. She'd never welcome people to the theatre before a show. I didn't think she was much cop. Neil Oliver, she was not. There was certainly no shortage of things going on around the ship. You had the standard ship's theatre headliners doing West End style shows, some comedians, and they had a really good illusion act called CJ Illusions. Theatres on any other ship I've been on are first come, first serve. However, on this ship, you have to book your seats on the My Holiday app, which I think is ridiculous and a bit unnecessary. Let people make their way to the theatre when they're ready, and if there's no seats left, it's tough titty. There's 3 shows of an evening, and at the moment masks are mandatory throughout the performance and bar service is still suspended. A very new concept which I haven't experienced before is the Sky Dome. It is the indoor pool which features an impressive glass triangulated roof which by night turns itself into a hub of entertainment featuring live bands, acrobatic acts and much more. We saw some really interesting shows here, but our favourite act was Pulse. Pulse also played in other venues on board, including the Clubhouse, which I'll come on to in a second, and they were really good and we liked them a lot. The Clubhouse is the aft entertainment venue on Deck 8, featuring comedians and music acts like Pulse, who I've just mentioned. The atmosphere was great here, and I was a massive fan of the Art Deco colour scheme with shades of green and gold throughout. It had a real classy feel to it, and it was one of our favourite parts of the ship. They didn't make a very good porn star though. Forgive and remember, that's my motto. One thing I was super impressed with on Iona was the cinema. Now, going on holiday and watching films, it isn't my cup of tea. However, it's great that the option is there if you've got a sea day where the weather is a bit adverse and you're not sure what to do with yourself. You have 4 separate screens playing films at 4 different showings each day. Films range from the old classics to the newly released. One of the best things on Iona is the amount of pools and hot tubs. And oddly, that is the most common complaint I hear about when it comes to Britannia. It's like P&O have listened to the feedback and thought, yeah, 4 hot tubs on a big ship like Britannia is a bit stingy, and they've gone nuts and put 16 on here, 2 of which are enormous at the stern on Deck 8. As part of the 16, you've got 6 infinity whirlpools on the promenade deck, which I thought were fantastic, something I've never experienced or seen before. And it was great to see that you have a full promenade on this ship too, and they've certainly utilised the space well. What with the infinity whirlpools, comfortable seating, showers and outdoor seating for restaurants such as the Olive Grove. Great stuff, P&O, really good. The infinity pools all the way aft on decks 16 and 18 are also really decent. It's great swimming some lengths and just having a paddle and looking over the edge at the sea below. When it comes to pools, my only complaint was the absence of an adults only pool. On a massive ship like this, which is going to be incredibly popular with families, it would be nice if P&O gave some consideration to those that wanted a quieter experience in or around a pool. The Beachcomber would be the ideal pool to be adults only, as it sits right next to the retreat and is at the opposite end to which the children's facilities can be found. I hope that this is something that P&O will tweak in the future. Another tip I'm going to give is fare types. Now, usually I'm quite happy booking on an early saver fare, meaning you get a cabin on a guarantee basis at a cheaper price, whereas a select fare you get to choose your cabin when making your booking. However, on this ship I wouldn't. The reason for that is balcony cabins on deck 8 are eye level with the promenade deck. So you'll wake up in the morning, half naked, hair like tumbleweed, you open your curtains and you've got the morning marchers parading around the deck, able to look right into your cabin. I'm someone that likes my privacy, and I certainly wouldn't want the infamous cruise ship walkers knocking the frail and the less mobile into my balcony. So on this basis, I would recommend booking your cruise on a select fare and choosing your cabin and giving balconies on deck 8 a very wide berth. So that was my review of Iona. Overall, I was incredibly impressed with this ship. It surpassed all expectations and more. and any complaints I had, I've raised in this video, and hopefully you can acknowledge there wasn't many. One observation I would make though, is this ship is very different to what I've been used to with P&O. And I know from speaking to other passengers on board during my cruise, I'm not the only one that feels this way. Ever since the introduction of Ventura back in 2008, it has been apparent that P&O are going in a direction of appealing to a younger crowd, and particularly to families. And my God, Iona really does reinforce this view. Whilst I think Iona is a fantastic ship, it is going to be hated by some cruisers whom have been loyal to the company for many years. Iona felt more like a celebrity ship than it did P&O. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing. From my experience of talking to fellow passengers on various P&O cruises, it seems that more people than not prefer the smaller ships. And the fact that P&O are continuing to ignore those well-expressed views by selling off Idonia, Oriana, Oceana and probably Aurora in the coming years, and pushing ahead with building vastly bigger and glitzier ships like Britannia, Iona and Avia, that tells me that P&O have made up their mind and they're now taking on the big boys like Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. They know that it is a much bigger market for them, rather than trying to hold on to some of the disgruntled loyal passengers who will most likely go over to Saga and Marella to deliver that smaller British ship experience they want to hold on to. Iona is the best indication so far as to the direction P&O are headed, and announcing the arrival of Avia in 2023 reinforces that point. Iona is a game-changing ship for P&O. There's no other way of putting it. And I'm left feeling very excited for the company's future. I'll certainly remain loyal to P&O. I've never had a bad cruise and I'm happy to embrace change. But I know there's some P&O cruisers that will feel very differently. So if you're looking at booking a cruise on Iona, my best advice is go ahead and book it. I have, and surely you can't get a more convincing thumbs up than that. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. If you've liked our video, please give us the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for future cruise content. We've got so many cruises lined up and we'd love to take you with us.